Bon après-midi, bienvenue à tous. C'est une belle et grande journée pour la sénateur d'Ottawa. It's a great day for our organization. First of all, I want to thank Michael Andlauer. Without his commitment and passion for this organization, we don't have days like this. And so big thank you to him. He is, to be quite frank, shattered that he's not here today. As this negotiation went along, we were ready to move forward with the extension, and unfortunately Michael couldn't be here today. And he loves being here for these events, especially because we're signing a goaltender and him being a goaltender himself. So there was a lot of work that went into this day. I want to thank my staff who's here. Initially acquiring Linus and bringing him to Ottawa, and then taking the time for him and his family to get comfortable and understand what we're all about, and then leading to this moment here. So big thank you to my staff. Joachim Persson, Linus's agent, for his professionalism and open lines of communication throughout the dialogue on working towards this extension. To Mo and the kids, welcome in till Ottawa. So I hope that was okay.
That was great.
Okay, I'm trying. Anyway, it's so wonderful that you guys are here. This is a special moment for the entire family, and we felt comfortable from the beginning that once you got to see the Ottawa-Gatineau community, what the Ottawa Senators were all about, that this was a perfect match for you guys and for us. So thank you for that. When you go about looking at acquiring a player or any position, but a goaltender, we felt very confident at the time when we had an opportunity to acquire Linus that he'd be a great fit in Ottawa. What we didn't know, we thought we knew a little bit about his character and his leadership, but just having him here for the first, I guess it's been about 6 weeks here in the city and in around our team, that has become quite clear and quite evident, and it's tangible. The way he carries himself, his passion for the game, his leadership, his commitment to his teammates is something that we welcome here, and we're trying to add more people and players like Linus. Along with that, I feel like the culture is changing here in Ottawa. We have a Vezina Trophy winning goaltender who's committed to our organization for the next 5 years. I've said it before, I think that I've played in a lot of Canadian markets as well, and they're all special in their own way, but I do feel that this is a special place for our players, the passionate fan base, and we're looking forward to getting started here. So, in saying all that, Linus, welcome officially for long term, and I'll hand it over to you.
Perfect. Well, first of all, thank you, Steve, for the introduction. It's sort of like a surreal feeling, just because of I'm still processing the whole thing. Saw my family now when they came in, almost had tears in my eyes, just because it's such a monumental thing. And looking back throughout my career, there's been a lot of hardships. There's been a lot of things that I probably wouldn't like to have relived, but I did it. I'm here today. I'm standing here as the man, the husband, and the hockey player just because of it. And I'm trying to bring all of my experience from those hardships and also the good times into this organization. I'm very thankful that I have now the opportunity to build something long term, and because this is not just going to happen overnight. It's going to be a process that I'm hoping to be a positive, injection into the organization. And to all the people of Ottawa and Gatineau, I've felt the support and the love right from the start. It took me literally 5 minutes to be recognized when I went out for coffee my first day here. So at that point as well, you can tell that it's a Canadian market, that it's hockey, it's what it's all about. And it has been a wonderful time for us so far, from Steve and the other guys that enabled us and Michael to take our time, sell it in, get everything in order, and really trust us that if we do that, something good is going to come out of it. And so once we actually made this step towards finalizing the deal, it felt like everything kind of came into place, not just for me as a hockey player, but for me as a father, and also for my kids and my wife as well. So we're very fortunate and very happy to stand before you here today.
Okay, we'll take questions. Clark?
Claire Hanna with TSN. I'll start with you, Steve. The timing of this. Why did you want to sign Linus right now rather than maybe wait a little bit into the regular season?
Well, I think we stayed true to our approach, which was what Linus had just touched on. We wanted to make sure that Mo and the kids and Linus were comfortable within the community, comfortable with the organization, with our vision of the organization, my work, the players. I felt confident that that was not only the right approach for the family, but also for us as well. Getting to see Linus in and around our team, and the fit, not just positionally, but what I touched on the character and the leadership part of it as well, became clear that this is something that we wanted to do long term. To do it before the start of the season, I think, gives peace of mind for both of us. I want the team to be prepared to go into the season without any distractions. And I'm not saying this would have been a distraction, but it certainly would have been probably on Linus's mind. And we're glad we got to a deal. And now we can start the season fresh and ready to go.
And just to follow up, Linus, how does it help you knowing that this contract's in place just to focus more on just the hockey moving forward?
It's something that I've always kind of relayed the message to whenever I've had that question asked for me. And if everything is taken care of off the ice, it's a lot easier to focus what's important on the ice. And this will enable me, together with my family, to really settle in, because it doesn't really matter what's going to happen during the season. We know that we're in a good place as a family, as a team, as a community, that it doesn't matter what's going to happen. We're always know that we have something to fall back on, and we can deal with those things that happen along the way, instead of feeling that the boat is starting to capsize here and at home. Now we can figure those things out as long as we go, and we can feel that we're a lot better and a lot more safe, I would say, when it comes to those things.
Bruce Garrett from Post Media. A question for each is, Steve, when did this come together? When did you pick up the phone and have serious discussions with Linus's agent?
Well, yeah, JP and I had some soft conversations about, what direction we'd like to go, and things picked up over the last week or so, leading to the start of the season. So there was always a line of communication as far as the actual negotiation. It probably picked up over the last week or so.
When did you get the sense there was kind of mutual, like, let's do this?
Can't put a finger on the timing. I think, again, we were true to our word. We wanted Linus and the family to be comfortable first. I'd never talked to Linus about. We talk every day at the rink, but we'd never talk about. My conversations with Joachim were just that, and it was all through him. I wanted to keep this away from Linus and at the rink. So, there's an ongoing discussion, Bruce, over the last month, and then I think probably over the last week or so, things started to pick up.
And Linus, what did you like about the situation on the ice that made you want to commit here for 4 more years?
It's what Steve said as well, there's a change in the air, and you can feel it from the outside, but also for someone that's coming in now and can see it in the locker room and talking to the players, talking to the coaching staff, even medical teams and trainers, everybody that works around or in this organization, there's this upbeat, positive thinking, and you can sense that we're not happy with where we are, and we want to be a playoff team. We want to have success again, and we're not satisfied. And that's what I like about it, that I had a conversation with a teammate that, I started saying that I came from Buffalo. I've seen these whole things and drawing comparisons, but I don't see the comparisons, which, it was a long time ago since I was in Buffalo, but for me to not feel the same was a big step in, okay, there's something cooking here, that if you're just going to allow us to have a little bit more time together and really make it or come together something good is going to come out of it.
Hi, Julie McKenzie from The Athletic. Sorry if my question's a bit similar to Bruce, but I'll ask it to Linus. When did you come to that decision? I know you said you don't want to get rushed into that decision about whether or not you'd want to stay, but when did you come to that realization that you wanted to stay in Ottawa?
I think it's always sort of been there in the way of, so during this whole process, ever since that I was traded, I've had multiple conversations with many different people. And it's not just been with Steve and Michael or with Alfie, for example, or even the players. I've talked to people in the NHL. I've talked to all my friends and see what do they say about Ottawa. It's not that they have played there or just their overall feeling, like, what do you think about Ottawa? And there's always been a positive approach and like positive things that people have said about, if it's the players or the coaching staff or the trainers or whatever it may be. And that's also something that, this is my daily living. Most of the time I'm going to spend with these guys. And to hear that a lot of people around the league enjoys and think that these are good guys and people, that means a lot to me. And then it just made it sort of a easier decision that, you know what, this is a good place. This is a good place to play hockey. This is a great place to raise a family, and that's very important to me. I have my kids and my wife here today, and they're everything to me, and I would do anything for them. And so I think that this decision to stay here, I know that staying here on a long-term deal is fantastic.
I know it's been a few years since you've been in Buffalo, but I know you were kind of alluding to it in your last answer, but what were some tangible differences from the environment from when you were in Buffalo compared to what you were able to experience in your short time here in Ottawa?
I would say the satisfaction of we're not just, people here strive to become better. People care more, I would say. It's not like the people there didn't care, but if you can sense that people care more here about what's going on, and they're not satisfied with where they are, and they do genuinely want to change. They want to become better. They want to evolve as people, as players, and that means a lot, because as much as we want to become better hockey players, I want to be a better human being, a better person, and helping younger guys to take the next steps into their career, and also showing them this is how you treat people with respect. And because I've seen it firsthand as well during my time in Boston, being around some of the future Hall of Famers there, that this is a standard, and this is one of the reasons why they've been so successful for so many years.
If I can, just one more just for Steve. Obviously adding Linus is a plus for you, and you've made mention of the fact that you've added players who know what it's like to compete for a Stanley Cup and win a Stanley Cup. How do those additions to your team this year affect your expectations for the club for this season?
I think it affects my expectations that there's another level of professionalism, discipline, detail. That's really it. I mean, to look at expectations for what we will be at the end of the season, it's not the approach that I'm looking at, and certainly not Travis and the coaching staff's approach. They're talking about the daily habits of this team and the identity of this team. And at this point, it's been strong, and it's talked about now within the players on that, and staying focused on that.
Thank you.
Alex Adams, Sportsnet. Your friend Jeremy Swayman just signed a deal in Boston, same amount, per year. I just for you, you talked about how important it was for your family to get settled, but how much did the dollars and cents, was that something where you guys had to kind of come together to find the right amount throughout this negotiation?
So when it comes to everybody's going to be curious on why this and why that, and I kind of figured that this is a question that it's gonna come. For me, I don't deal with these sort of things. That's for JP and Steve to come on to an agreement. What's for me is to have feeling that it is I know if you can speak for the same thing, Steve, but as a player, sometimes it's hard to value yourself, and you have to trust other people, especially your agent, to tell you that, okay, this is the analytics, this is what we think, this is what I think, and then you sort of have to trust him that, okay, this is what you're worth, so to speak, because it is hard. Because sometimes you might think that you're worth more, or you might think that you're worth less. It's such a hard thing to gauge, and it's always been, and I think it's always going to be. And hence why, especially nowadays with, have the advanced analytics and people are just bringing up stats after stats. My job is to stop pucks. My job is to be a father at home, and I don't look at these things, so that's when I take a step back and let them focusing on that sort of thing.
Just to follow up, you weren't paying attention to that at all, or any of the Igor Shesterkin talk? Like, you're not really factoring that into any of this?
I'm not oblivious to it. I still look at it, I see it, but I don't, I have to compare to myself. I don't want to compare it to other people. They're in a different situation, they're different people, and there might be different things going into their conversations when it comes to contracts. I know what we were talking about. I'm more than happy with where we're at, and it's not just because of the pay upgrade or so, but I'm just happy that we found a great fit for me and my family, and that's the most important part for me.
Just for Steve, around the league, talking about Shesterkin and other goaltenders, there has been a push to tandem goaltenders in this league. Why is Ullmark the right guy to kind of bet on for the next 5 years?
I think just his body of work. If you followed him and watched him and watched him grow as a goaltender as well, and he continues to progress. So, we felt confident dating back to the trade deadline when we're started zeroing in on looking at our goaltending. He was the guy.
Maybe with that, this core, Linus talked about it. A young core kind of on the cusp of the playoffs. How much of making this decision to sign Linus is also a part of believing in this core, taking that next step to make the playoffs?
I think with any addition, you're looking at building it and adding to those areas, and I believe Linus is entering his prime, and these next coming years are going to be good for him, and timing that with the growth of our group and where we're at and where I think that this group can continue to build. It's a good feeling having a starting goaltender, a stabilizing factor, a character person, a leader in that position.
Steve, can I follow up on that? We asked Linus about the contracts, but I'm curious, did the market for Jeremy Swayman and Shesterkin and stuff affect where you go, okay, now I know where we're at?
It all factors in, Brent. Right from the beginning, you look at comparables and numbers, advanced analytics, and you can go a number of different ways. At the end of the day, we were looking for a fair deal, and I talked to JP about that. We're looking for a win-win. It's like the way I like to negotiate. There's some more recent comparables, obviously, and so that helped the deal get done. Yeah, sure.
It's been this week, right? And you said it heated up this week. I was just curious if that
There were some discussions prior to, but certainly, yeah. I mean, it's the market. I mean, if you're looking whether you're making a trade or you're signing a contract, there's comparables in the marketplace. And
I know you spoke to the players this morning. I'm just curious if you would share what you said to them.
Oh, yeah. No, I can't relay or say exactly what I said out in there, because of the. I would say that stays in the locker room. What I can say is that, when I asked G about these things and asked him whenever guys signed a new ticket or anything, is there some sort of tradition or anything like that? And they came to an agreement there's going to be a team dinner somewhere during the during the season where, I don't know. Hopefully the boys will go a little bit easy on me. We're not going to have an open bar. We're professionals, so we'll stay away from that. But it's just a small token of gratitude towards them as well. And I think it's I mean, I did the same thing in Boston, and it was an obvious thing for me here, and I was happy that they did the same thing and that he didn't lie to my face and say, you know, some outrageous things. So I'm happy about that.